On today's video, I have an updated elections map based on the most recent result that we have from a different source, which I'm planning to start contrasting with Polymarket and the traditional pollings that we use in the States. And this source is Atlas Intel. For those who might wonder, who is Atlas Intel? Atlas Intel is one of the most accurate pollsters in the world. For those who don't know, Atlas Intel, they had a poll for the Argentinian election, where their poll had Javier Milei with a margin of victory 52 to 47%. And what happened on the actual election? On the actual election, Milei won 55 to 44. And for those who don't follow Spanish politics or are not as aware, Argentina has had left-wing politicians for years. 4 years. I think his election was as big of a surprise as Donald Trump's election was in 2016. But on this one, Atlas Intel, they actually did the homework and they were able to make accurate predictions. So let me show you here the map that they have and show you some of the changes that they're seeing. I'm going to go here with some of the numbers. First, here we got the big changes. What are they seeing different comparing to the most recent polls? What they're seeing different is a big change in North Carolina. North Carolina has a significant drop after Mark Robinson, who's running for governor. There's some controversy about his campaign. Those apparently some racist remarks that he made, and that's currently affecting his campaign and potentially affecting North Carolina to vote for Donald Trump. So that's one of the big changes that I'm seeing comparing to the other sources that were used. In the case of Georgia, they see Georgia slightly leading for Trump, but 0.6, that's a toss-up. That's a toss-up. On the Arizona case, only 1.2%, that is also a toss-up in their book. Remember, they have a margin of error of 2.2. So anything below that, you can pretty much discard it as pretty much irrelevant. In the case of Nevada, they actually have a solid margin for Kamala Harris with a 2.8%. And this is definitely different comparing to the 50-50 numbers that I'm seeing. But hey, 50 to 47, it's a good margin. This means maybe Nevada is actually going to lean for Democrats. In the case of Wisconsin, I honestly did not see this one coming. They got Wisconsin leading for Trump. I was thinking that probably Michigan was going to be leading for Trump, but we'll get to Michigan in a second. So, but the percentage is only a 1.5% difference. So it's still within the margin of error. So I wouldn't go crazy about it, but it's definitely to keep in mind on Wisconsin. In the case of Michigan, I did not see this coming. I might expect Michigan to vote for Republicans, but I did not expect Michigan to be ahead by 3.4% according to Atlas Intel. Then on the case of Pennsylvania, they also have Donald Trump with a 2.9% lead, but as I mentioned, their margin of error is 2.2. You can make your own decisions based with the numbers that I'm providing, but those are good numbers based on my expectations. My expectations were Pennsylvania was going to be the big fight. If Donald Trump can secure Georgia and Pennsylvania, I think pretty much it's a wrap, because with the rest of the states, he might be able just to close it off. But I think it's going to be, as they also predict, it's going to be pretty much a 50-50 case for the entire country. There's going to be some states here and there. Remember, not everybody that does the polls, sometimes they don't vote. The turnout can make a significant change of however you conduct the polls. But as I mentioned earlier, these people are doing their homework. And their margin of error, as I'm going to show you here in this report, it is significantly better comparing to the competition. Like, for example, a very biased ABC and Washington Post, which they lean Democrat, they have a 5.5 margin of error versus Atlas Intel, which is a 2.2. And another report that some people might dismiss as they think it slightly leans right, it's Rasmussen report. But Rasmussen report has a 2.8% error margin. That is also very good comparing to all the numbers that you guys are seeing here on this data. So now let's get to the map, and I'm going to show you the map, and then I'm going to give you some contrast based on what I'm seeing with Polymarket, which I used in the past. The reason I'm including Polymarket because back in 2020 I kind of dismissed them, and they had Joe Biden winning the election, and I was like, okay, I'm going to maybe follow it closer because let's be honest, I'm pretty sure you guys follow people that are telling you what you want to hear and not what you need to hear. And that's the reason we're becoming tribes, because if you hear the political opponent that you follow and they tell you that the Democrats are going to win, they're going to win, they're going to win, that is a clear shot that they're going to win, and then you believe it and then it doesn't happen, then you're going to believe something else happened in the election. The same what happened in 2020. Many people are talking about the red wave that never came. So let's get to the map. So this is the map that we have according to Atlas Intel. And this is the map that we have from Polymarket. So you can see there's some definitely big changes according to different predictions. Again, presidential predictions are very hard. It's very easy to get around because we all have our biases, and our biases can sometimes blind you and lead you to believe certain things that may be incorrect. So that's why I'm contrasting data and trying to be as clear as possible. So they got Arizona as a toss-up. I think Arizona definitely a fair toss-up. They got Nevada going for Democrats, as I mentioned. I thought that was going to be more of a toss-up too, in my opinion. Georgia, they also have it as a toss-up. I did see Georgia as a toss-up, but slightly leaning Republican. And the two big surprises are Pennsylvania, which I thought whoever wins Pennsylvania pretty much has a significant percent of the election in the bag. But I did not see coming the issue with North Carolina. Trump losing North Carolina could change the whole thing, and it could make things a lot more complicated for his campaign. But also gaining Michigan might sort of balance out the effect from losing North Carolina, since you only be dropping a point, but then now your focus has to be hardcore on Arizona and Georgia. And I think it's going to depend on the turnout, how bad people want to vote for Kamala, or how bad people don't want Trump in office. That is a big question to have. And I'm going to show you here a last thing here, the map, the Polymarket map. As you can see, Polymarket does have Trump with a 64%. I don't see a 64% Arizona. I think it's a lot closer. Nevada, definitely a toss-up. 53, slightly leaning Democrats, but not a big deal. Georgia, this is kind of how I saw it, maybe closer, 55 to 45. North Carolina, definitely everything changed with Mark Robinson scandal. And Michigan, I also had Kamala winning Michigan. But this is the numbers. I want to keep the update close and brief. That way people don't go crazy having to watch a 20-minute video to actually get the same information. So here's the map. Here's all the information. I will add some of the sources in the comment section for Atlas. That way you guys can follow it, get information from their X account, and see you in the next video.